So I have now lost track of what number we're on. This is session X of infinity. So glad to have you go. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Number 6. Okay, we're in session number 6. And thank you very much, Dawn. And yeah, before we get going, I want to talk a little bit about the community. So thanks to Dawn again now for volunteering, as well as a few others. So for those of you that haven't got the opportunity to join these in person, you can form a little cluster, a nice little group. We call it a conversation circle. It's a nice little tight little group, and you guys can use it as a sounding board using the chat circles component of the app. So I'd love you guys to join. If you want to, just pop me an email with your LinkedIn profile. Sorry, Scotty, we can't be at your seminar in person. We've now got over 500 of you guys around the world. Most of you guys don't attend in person, but I'd love it if you can. It's obviously, it adds to the vibe. But if you can't and you want to be part of one of these little chat conversation circles, send us your LinkedIn profile and I will add you to one. And I'd like to thank you, Dawn, for creating one earlier on today. Okay, so before I begin today, I want to talk a little bit about the community. You guys are now on session 6 and you're really starting to understand the process. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come, because it's a classic case of really, really saving the best for last. I'm really going to be teaching you some amazing stuff. In fact, you guys don't even know this yet, but I'm going to be bringing on some very, very high quality specialists to start making guest appearances. Not just yet, but over the coming weeks. Things like experts in how to use the phone, how to do telesales, for example, using our process, obviously. Things like conversion specialists, specific areas of particular business and lead generation, and how to magnify the effectiveness, how to write better copy. It's going to be amazing down the line. Just little snippets, short little cameos from various experts. And of course, if you're listening to this and you feel that you're an expert in that field, first priority will always go to those people who are on this course. Okay, so I would love to hear from you guys and start bringing you on board. Obviously, it's got to fit in with the methodology, and you guys will become a permanent part of the process. So I'm very excited, guys. There's a lovely community, and as we start growing and as we start getting more and more people, we're getting people every day joining. Every single day, new people are joining, and it's wonderful. So thank you. Keep asking new people to join. Please keep telling people, especially young people. Sales is such an important role, and what we are actually teaching at the end of the day is sales. I know it doesn't look like sales, and it's so soft and so gentle, and you don't actually mention your product or service for as long as possible. At the end of the day, it's got to result in a deal. It is about sales, and this is what we're doing. So for young people, especially, to learn this, but it's business owners, it's salespeople, they can all learn from this. I also want to talk about the innovation that we're doing. We're constantly innovating. You've seen the app. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Have you noticed the new color scheme? We've got a new color scheme on the app now. So we've gone and done a little bit of a visual overhaul on what we're doing, and the community is growing, and we're constantly looking at making things better. I do want to mention that sometimes bugs happen. And this is because we can't test every single component, but it's actually because sometimes LinkedIn made a change. So last weekend, LinkedIn decided to make a change. And of course, a whole bunch of the messaging went down. And some of it is still not 100% right. If that happens, just take a deep breath and know that we're onto it. It is amazing if you find a problem, if you could let me know. Just respond to my email or let me know. We are going to create a section on the app where you can report comments and screen grabs. If you can do a Loom video, that would also be great. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the content today as well. But the community is going to be really important going forward, having you guys a sounding board. Okay, it's great to bounce ideas off people. Now, quite an exciting day today. It's going to be less about the usual screen grabs and going through things, and more about me trying to get across where we're at the moment and the situation that you're in now and where we're about to go. So I'm going to start with where we're about to go. And that is, we're going to start getting into more, how do I convert what I have into actual sales and deals? That's where we're going to start going over the next couple of weeks. I'm almost going to rename it from Learn LinkedIn Like a Legend to Learn Sales Like a Legend, using the My Most Trusted app. Everything comes, it's still part of this philosophy. By now, you know how to do your LinkedIn invitations, and you can sit there and just go click, go, invite, send. The captivating one-liner, I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to pin down. I know it's difficult to nail that. I know writing the content around it is not easy. And I'm going to show you now how to do a tracking link that will allow you to track it once it's done. And I want to just try and put your mind at ease. So how do you do the content behind a captivating one-liner? The easiest way to do is just publish a LinkedIn article with an image, captivating one-liner, image, be provocative, and 3 or 4 paragraphs of really hard-hitting stuff. For now, even that is good enough, as long as what you say is not about you or your product or service. Remember, the goal is to sell your product or service without ever mentioning your product or service. It's like, how is it even possible? It is absolutely possible. When you do a human connection with somebody, you're building your relationship so they trust you. And eventually, know, like, and trust. They'll know you, like you, and then trust you. What we're trying to establish first right now is the trust element, because that needs to be established up front if you don't know those people. So you're going to start building that trust. But over time, you're going to start to do some really cool things, and you're going to start to expand that into how to convert that into a sale, into a call, an appointment. Now, even through your first phone call, it's about them, not you. It's about the pain. They ask you about your product or service, give them a quick little answer, but go make the conversation about them. The human to human element is the emotional sell. It's selling with your value. You guys have got to understand that you are experts and specialists in what you do. You can't diagnose like a doctor would diagnose unless you know what's wrong with them. And that means you ask them questions. If you went into a doctor's office and the doctor said, "Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Antonio. Good to see you, Asfar. Really cool. Before we begin, 20% off cough medicine today. What do you say?" It's ridiculous, right? It's completely ridiculous. Doctors don't sell like that. So the idea is that the human to human connection that you have is specifically around the emotional and building your value and credibility, listening to them. They will then use your periphery or your collateral outside of your one-on-one meetings or your chats on LinkedIn. And they will look at your website, look at your LinkedIn profile, watch a video or two, check your price list if you have it, whatever that collateral is that sticks on your website, they will find a reason to do business with you. Let that do the sale. That will sell it. Then eventually it gets to the point where you're having a conversation with them and they go, "I took a look at your website and I saw your kind of offering and price list," and they start asking you questions about your product or service. Now you can talk about your product or service, because they're not going to do that unless they're really keen on you and like you. Do you see the different approach? It's literally sitting back and going, "I just want to form amazing relationships with beautiful people and I want to get to know them." Of course, it has to be the right people. You remember the golden rule? Don't put crap into the app. You can spend hours and hours talking to the wrong people. LinkedIn will help you determine if the person you are speaking to is the right person up front. But that's who you want to build your relationships with. So make it about them. Talk about them. Talk about their pain, their issues. Really try to make it about them. It gets really funny and a wonderful conversation when the other person's using exactly the same mentality. And you both try to make it about you. And then you're both talking. And then you have this big laugh because both of you are trying to make it about the other person. And it's really cool because the sentiment is, "I'm really looking to help you. And that person's really looking to help me." And that is the essence of what a great relationship is. So I want you guys to really understand that when it comes to writing your content or doing a video, no matter how short, make it about them, but trust yourself. Know that you have the ability to diagnose like a doctor does. In your little area of expertise, you are frigging good at it. And it's not generic. It's not, "I'm the greatest social media manager in the world," or "I'm the greatest coach in the world," or "I'm the greatest insurance expert in the world," or whatever it happens to be. "I'm the greatest printer in the world." You've got to be niche. You've got to be able to say to them, "I know how difficult it is for you and your company to reach people using old-fashioned techniques like actual mail that you post to them, but you know how powerful it is, how difficult that is, but how powerful it is. I know that you want to connect with people on a more authentic level, and it's all digital, digital, digital. I know you as an individual are not just about digital, digital, digital. I know that you're an individual that wants to build relationships. So I, as a printer, can help you do that by understanding what it is that you're trying to do, and printing can solve that problem. But if you give them a brochure and list 50 different things about what a great printer you are, you're dead in the water. And if you can hand out as many business cards as you possibly can at an event, it's not going to work. This captivating one-liner is that soft, gentle approach. And I really want to just hammer that to you guys and tell you that you do have the ability to write 2 or 3 paragraphs minimum around a very salient point that that specific target audience needs to know, and make it a statement. That session, whatever, 3, I think it was, when I started taking you guys through the professional insight message, and I asked you to please remove any of the fluffiness. Like, you never say, I think it would be a good idea for you to. No, you tell them what their problem is. You tell them what your pain is. Your industry is going through this at the moment. Your job title is suffering from this problem. You read their pain to them better than they do in such a way they go, wow, this is somebody I need to take seriously. That is beautiful. And you do it in an authentic, genuine way, and it makes it about them. And this is what today is really about, is to hammer this home. I know you've been through the theory. I know you know how to do it on LinkedIn with your click invite and acceptance messages and everything. That's great. But it's now got to translate into the content. And that content can be simple or it can be complicated. If you want it to be a video, get your phone of you talking if you need to, make it look professional, look good, dress nicely, make a 1 to 2 minute micro video, just talking about their pain on that salient point, and publish it on YouTube, or stick it embedded into a LinkedIn article, write a few lines of text around it and say, this is your problem. Go out on LinkedIn with that captivating one-liner and let them watch your video. Let them watch that. That's all you need. That's a start. That's the start. It might not be the end. There's lots of cool things that you can do down the line, but at least you're getting it going. Does that make sense, guys? Also, what we're going to be talking about in the future is the 4-step process. And I haven't gone through this in a lot of detail right now, and it's going to be a whole episode just on the 4-step process around, now that you've got some conversations going and you've got these links and they're clicking and you're starting to get a little bit of traction, and somebody said thumbs up or, hey, great article, but did nothing else. What do? You've sent your professional insight message. You might have a bit of a conversation going, what do I do next? How do I take it to the next level? And we're going to do a whole session on this, guys. This is where we're going to sell like a legend. But for now, I want to quickly shift over to the app, and I'm going to quickly show you the importance of the tracking link. But I hope this way of selling and this way of communicating is actually refreshing. I hope it makes you feel good. That goes, yeah, I can actually kind of sell without ever selling, and I feel comfortable. I hate selling, but I don't mind doing it this way because I'm genuinely adding value through professional insight messages and through the content that I'm giving. And I'm making a salient point. I'm getting a message across. Exciting stuff. All right. Let me quickly share screens. All right. Let me show you guys how to do a tracking link. This is great. This is one of my favorite things to do. So what you do to make a tracking link is, under your target and sales funnel, you have created already by now a couple of invitation messages and acceptance messages under settings. Here we go. Right. You've created your invitation message and you've created your acceptance message. And I've also shown you how to use your custom message where possible to use that professional insight message that I took you through. Once again, guys, that professional insight message is gold. It's really, really cheap. If you master that, guys, within 2 or 3 minutes, you can get great conversations on LinkedIn. Why? Because it's not about you. It's about them. And you're showing off your expertise. Okay. So I created a custom message as an example. All right. But the tracking link can be created once off in any message except for invitation message. Don't put a tracking link in an invitation message because we don't know who they are until they've accepted your LinkedIn invitation. So your LinkedIn invitation message must be less than 300 characters, and it should not have a tracking link, but it can mention the title of your captivating one-liner. All right. This is not a great example for that, but I'm going to show you now how to use the perfect example on how to create a tracking link. That's the purpose of today. All right. So just look at what I'm doing from a tracking link perspective. What you would have done is you would have posted your article on LinkedIn, or you've made a YouTube video, or whatever you decided that your captivating one-liner is going to link to. All right. So here's an example of a couple that I've done. And there's some good articles on the manage3.com website that you can use. So I've just basically taken one of my articles. I think I used the email one, how to build an email list for your email marketing. Here we go. So let's use this one. I'm going to copy this URL. If you guys really don't want to use content, like you truly have no desire to use content, get a captivating one-liner and find an article in the press that speaks to that, and just link to that article in the press. It's really not great. It's not the best way of doing it, but it will still identify. I'm just really trying to help you guys find shortcuts for those of you who want shortcuts until you feel you've nailed down that content. But don't feel you have to write pages and pages and pages of content. You don't have to. It can be 2 or 3 paragraphs. Use a nice image. Okay, so how do you create a tracking link? I've copied the URL. And what you do is you go into any of your messages, in this case, my custom messages, not your invitation message. And what you do is you paste it into that as a link, just like you normally would. So hi, name, as a social media manager, this is right up your alley. And I paste it in there, Scott. That's all. All right, then I save it. And now I've got my custom message. Now, let me quickly show you how you're going to send that custom message. Let's put somebody into high quality connections. So once again, I'm going to look for Cherie. And I'm going to take Cherie and I'm going to add her to this high quality connections tab. Now, remember, you guys should already have people in these tabs already because you're going through the process. All right. Right there, I've added Cherie now. Now it's pulled her data and she's sitting there. There's already a few tabs because I've messaged her before. Now, how do we create a tracking link? The first time you send a message that includes a tracking link, custom message. I'm going to send Cherie the custom message now. Click on it. It's building the custom message. Look what pops up. Okay. A little orange box that says, would you like to add a tracking link? Yes, I would like to add a tracking link. So I click on it and provide a name for that tracking link. And our tracking link is how to build an email list article. That's all. Just give it a name, create a tracking link. Congratulations. Nice. Now, watch what happens. Hi, Cherie. As a social media manager, this is right up your alley. Look, it's a madge3.com link. Now, this is something you'll have to be aware of because unless you're a full-blown madge3.com customer, you'll need to use the domain that we come up with for you. Let me show you what I mean by that. Right now, my article is madge3.com on our website. Okay. When I click send, watch what happens. Hi, Cherie. As a social media manager, this is right up your alley. It's changed the link. Still looks beautiful. It still uses my preview image. Look how good that looks. How to build an email list for your email marketing. Still does it. Still looks exactly the same. That's what they're going to click on. But the link behind it has changed. It is now insightfularticles.com. This is a link that we own. So if this individual clicks on this link, so if Cherie clicks on it, a tag is going to be created, clicked on social media censorship articles. She clicked on a different one. That tag will be created. It might not be created, it might not happen immediately, but it will happen. So if I click on this, now it's going to take me to a captcha because you've got to wait for about 2 minutes because, okay, I'll be very quick. What LinkedIn does in the background is it automatically clicks on this and creates a false positive. So for the first 2 minutes, if somebody clicks on it, it'll be taken to a captcha. So if you test this out yourself, you'll be taken to a captcha. Does everyone know what a captcha is? It's when Google asks you to pick the number of bicycles and prove that you're a human and all that nonsense. In this case, it's a verification code. Okay, so you'll need to do that the first time. Only for the first 2 minutes. This just shows that it's not a false positive. After 2 minutes, if the person clicks on it, they'll be taken to the article and it's going to create that tracking link under here. Also, it's going to notify you. You'll get a little ping on your desktop, although that hasn't quite been finished yet. But shortly, you will be able to get a ping on your desktop. And the mobile app will notify you on your mobile phone as well. I'm going to do a session. Thank you, Cherie, for acknowledging. Your mobile phone will be pinged and to notify you that Cherie Leone, Managing Director of Madge3.com, has just clicked on your tracking link. In real time, you can then action her and send her that professional insight message. See what's happening? It's notifying you. It's creating a subset of your connections and it's telling you which ones have clicked. And you can also search for them by tag with this little down arrow here. You can actually search by tag. In other words, show me everybody that has clicked on that particular article. When they click on your article, it means they have the pain. If they click on your captivating one-liner, they're only going to engage with you if they have the need that it talks about. It starts the concept of prioritizing. And those are the people you start working with first. Another place that you'll be able to see it is under the notifications tab, under my most trusted leads. Okay. It hasn't appeared now because it will take a little bit of time. But Cherie, once she, oh, I haven't clicked on it. Sorry, because I didn't go through the capture. But if she goes through and she clicks on it, she will appear here under notifications. So you can see who's clicked on it. 8 days ago, this person clicked on it, etc. The difference between my most trusted and Maya is the full-blown version, the full-blown system that we offer for our clients. So I'm not connected to Maya now, so it's not going to be available for you. And I'm going to be taking you guys through Maya in more detail at a later date so that you guys who want to start getting involved, more part of this process, can even become a reseller, etc. And that's the Gnocchi dashboard I'm going to take you through. But for now, Cherie will appear here. Let's see if it's still prompting me to do that capture. There, see, didn't ask for the capture because 2 minutes have gone by. It's taking me straight through. So now LinkedIn isn't going to create that false positive. Let's just see if it does refresh. It's possible that it might not. Let's see if that tag has been created, etc. It does take a little bit of time for those tags to appear. All right, let's have a look quickly. So let's check under notifications. My most trusted leads. There she is. Okay, a few seconds ago. Tracking link click. Cherie Leone clicked on how to build email list article. There it is. And it also tells you how many times she clicked on it, which we need to check that out. I need to find out why it says 0. Actually, I don't really need that data. It's not that important. But the most important thing is she's clicked on it. Usually this does take a little while to update. Another thing that will happen on the app as well is, as I mentioned before, if I go back to my sales funnel and I go back to, where did I put her? High quality leads. There, you see it's created the tag. Clicked on how to build an email list article. See, she's clicked on it. And although it hasn't happened right now, it's going to notify you on your desktop. And if you've got the mobile phone, it's going to notify you on your mobile phone. The mobile phone app allows you to work on your leads in the same way. You can move them between systems. I'm going to do a whole section on the mobile app. It's also free with this whole app, guys. And I'm also going to teach you how to get it. For those of you that love playing with tech, if you go to mymosttrusted.net and you install the mobile app, you use the QR code. And the QR code is, where is the QR code? I think it's under settings. Maya Mobile. It's called Maya Mobile. And you take your mobile app and you use the QR code. And once the app is installed, and it will connect, and you will now be able to use everything that you see. You'll be able to track your phone. You'll track your pipeline on your phone. Aren't we the coolest company ever? So guys, that's how you create a tracking link. Every time to send a tracking link, it won't ask me again. I only have to track that tracking link once. I've done it with Cherie now. Anyone else will get that tracking link automatically. So you can just go send, 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 and then you'll be notified. And if your captivating one-liner is amazing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get clicks. People are going to click to it. And for those that aren't clicking on your captivating one-liner, but they're high-quality people, send them a LinkedIn message and follow the process that I showed you in, I think it was episode 3, and send them a professional insight message. If Cherie has not clicked on this and I send her a professional insight message, like I taught you, chances are she's going to see that message, like the message. She goes, wow, that's a pretty good message. And she's going to scroll up, realize that she didn't deal with your content before, and click on it. It's going to encourage her to click. So what you're doing is you're just getting people over the first hurdle to click on your captivating one-liner if they have that need. See how powerful this is, guys. And now, once that starts to happen, you're starting to move them down into your sales pipeline. You might not be ready to put them in great conversations yet, but you have got them clicking, and that's your first step. The professional insight message, followed by the 4-step process, which I'm going to start taking you through next week, is how we're going to start to deal with those people once you've done those professional insight messages and once you've got conversations going. And if you haven't got conversations going, how to deal with them. For those who want to get some homework done and are ahead of the game, I highly recommend you go onto the mad3.com website and under client documents, under resources, client documents, mad3.com client cheat sheet, how to structure and prepare and send your first LinkedIn message. There's a whole guide with examples. I remember I took you through this before. This should be nothing new to you. You've seen this before, but there's a whole guide, and it's got a replay as well of that session 3 that we did. And you can go through and just quickly read this and make sure that you're fully understanding. Also, go to resources. If you're comfortable with those messages, under articles, go and have a look at how to write LinkedIn messages that get sales. This is the 4-step process. All right, read this article. There's a 5-minute video, and this session will become part of that as well, and a bit of information. Here's your 4-step process. This 4-step process is different for every business, and you will change it and mold it to yourself. And this is the topic of next week's conversation. We're going to talk about selling like a legend. So we're going to really start getting into that now for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to show you how to start converting, and we're going to be going back and forth. You know how the technology of the app works, guys. You know how to use it. We're going to also work on the community. I'll decide next week, but next week might be more around community before we get into sales. But sales is coming very soon. But if you want to get ahead of the curve, read this, how to write LinkedIn messages that get sales, and start to look at the 4-step process, because we're going to be starting to do some very, very, very cool stuff in that regard. All right, guys, I hope this has been a good session for you. And once again, don't be shy. Get those invitations out. Get your acceptance messages out. Get your professional insight messages out using the custom message. Use the tracking link. Get something out. It doesn't matter if it's not that good yet. Start sending out a few of those messages and get them to your captivating one-liner. Get the captivating one-liner out to people. Use that tracking link. You now have all the tools you need to get people into great conversations. By the next week or two, you should have a couple of people in your great conversations tab, guys. There's no excuse. You know how to do an invitation. You know how the app works. You should have your content ready for your captivating one-liner. You should at least have something, whether it's an article or whether it's a little video or whatever, no matter how short and how simple. You should have that captivating one-liner, and you should be in there. Use your little group, your conversation circle. Sound it out with other people and other people on this course, and let them help you out. Send out your acceptance message. Use a tracking link, and then start to send out your professional insight message by using the professional insight message technique that I've already shown you. And you should have people responding to you, and you should start get a great conversation going. The great conversation might not be a salesy conversation. It almost certainly won't be. We're going to talk about that when we talk about the sales process later. But for now, guys, you know what to do. It's now just about Q&A, and we'll go into the question and answer now. And you can tell me your issues and your trials and tribulations and what's worrying you and how you guys are feeling. But I want to reiterate, this is the process that can really, really, really help your sales funnel. It can make a huge difference. And you can not just build your first degree LinkedIn or not just use your new invitations. You can start bringing your first degree connections in and get them a captivating one-liner. You can use more than one tracking link. You don't have to have one tracking link. You can use more than one. So you can bring in different people in your first degree and start sending them different things. What matters is you have your sales pipeline. You're getting rid of people that are the wrong people, and you're working on that sales pipeline with the right people. You're being soft. You're being gentle. You're being non-salesy. You're letting your captivating one-liner do the work. And you'll start to see clicks, and you'll start to see people, and you'll start to get some results. And what I'd like to hear from you guys as well now in the Q&A before we break up into groups is, are you getting results? So to finish off, thank you once again, guys. You now have what you need from a technical perspective, and you have what you need in terms of the foundation to get you through that pipeline. What you won't be able to do yet, potentially, is convert those into appointments and sales. And that's what we got to spend some time on. In fact, I want to reiterate this, guys. Last thing, I promise. And then you can go back to your lentil soup. I want to show you and reiterate once again where you are in the process. This is the diagram that shows you the process. All right. What I've taught you thus far is how to connect with new prospects using the one-liner, and how to nurture them by sending them the one-liner messages, by doing your follow-ups. And I'm going to do a little bit more lead nurturing and showing you how to do that over time. What's going to come is this gap. All right. That lead nurturing process and this gap is solved 50% of this gap is going to be closed by your 4-step process we're going to talk about. But most important part of that 4-step process is your professional insight message, and get a conversation going. If you've got a conversation going with somebody, but you haven't got them onto a phone call yet or anything, right? They're halfway through this gap, but they're not there. This second half of this gap is the most important bit. This is where your money is, guys. And hopefully now you've learned to identify who they are because they're in your app. You know how to nurture them. You know how to go through the process, and you know how to get them into, that gap and identify them. We're now going to show you how to do that. Okay. Over the coming weeks. So this is where you are in the process. You're almost there. But if you don't go 100% of the way to the end of this gap, even if there's a tiny little gap, they'll still be stuck in there and you won't get anything. You've got to finish this process, and you've almost done it. You're almost there now, guys. And thank you, everybody. Everybody's in a situation now where if you've followed me this process, and I hate that word follow, if you've been on these training courses with me, you really get it. You can start connecting with other people, building a community. Guys, thank you once again. See you next week. Please keep sharing. Give us a 5-star rating on the app if you haven't done so. Get more people onto the course. They can start from episode number 1. Build your network. We're going to do a lot of networking in this process, going down the line with really good quality people. Use each other as a sounding board. And by all, using any means possible, just grow that business and get onto those. Just keep using this time to build your pipeline. It's going to make a difference in your business, guys. You'll get those sales that you need. Just follow the diligence. Just do it. Thank you, everybody. And we shall see you next week.